Teams aren't supposed to transform overnight. They aren't supposed to shed their past flaws, rewrite their identity, and emerge as one of the most complete units in the league after a single offseason. That kind of evolution usually takes years. It takes new systems, new habits, new voices, and new stars who reshape the entire culture. Yet somehow, almost impossibly, the Toronto Raptors have done exactly that. They have taken a roster that once leaned on chaos and turned it into a machine built on purpose. They have replaced desperation plays with structure, resumed confidence where hesitation existed, and found a composed identity in moments where last year's team would have crumbled. What makes this rise even more compelling is how natural it already looks. It doesn't feel like luck or a temporary spark. It feels like the start of something sustainable. The Raptors of the last 4 seasons were defined by everything they could not do in the half-court. They were athletic enough to run teams off the floor, gritty enough to rebound through sheer will, and disciplined enough to swarm defenses into bad nights. But the moment the transition opportunities ran dry, the offense evaporated. Possessions became a scramble. Shot selection grew increasingly desperate, and late-game execution became a recurring downfall. Nothing exposed these flaws more than playoff-caliber matchups. When transition opportunities shrink and teams force you to operate in tight spaces, Toronto simply didn't have the anchor who could slow the storm, bend the defense, and win possessions by force of skill. This year, that has changed. The reason is the arrival of a star the Raptors have been searching for since the Kawhi Leonard era: Brandon. Ingram is not the kind of star who detonates box scores on command. He is the star who brings order. The star who calms the offense by giving it structure. The star who offers answers when nothing else is working. And most importantly, the star who punishes defenses for every coverage they attempt. His presence alone shifts the geometry of the game. When he isolates, defenders must choose between letting him take a shot he's comfortable with or committing help that opens up everything else. He doesn't need a screen to generate quality looks. He doesn't need ideal spacing to create mismatches. He controls his pace, manipulates positioning, and always seems to get exactly where he wants to go. That kind of reliability is priceless for a team whose greatest flaw was unpredictability, and no player has benefited more from this than Scottie Barnes. When the trade first happened, analysts practically lined up to declare the pairing dysfunctional. 2 wings who prefer the ball in their hands, playing in cramped spacing, each needing rhythm touches to be effective. It was easy to assume their games would clash. Instead, the opposite has unfolded. With Ingram leading the half-court engine, Barnes no longer carries the burden of forcing plays when nothing is there. He becomes the weapon used against teams who overcommit. When Ingram draws early help, Barnes is the release valve waiting to attack. When defenses switch smaller players onto Ingram, the offense flows back to Barnes, who uses his strength to punish mismatches. And when Ingram faces drop coverage, Barnes thrives on second-side actions. Finding cutters, shooters, or his own driving lanes, his development has been nothing short of dramatic. The shot that teams invited last year is now a weapon they must respect. The aggression that often faded late in possessions is now part of his identity. He's finishing stronger at the rim, embracing contact, and turning transition opportunities into efficient scoring bursts. The version of Scottie Barnes that Raptors fans hoped would someday emerge has finally arrived. Confident, decisive, and consistent. And playing next to a stabilizing force like Ingram has unlocked the best parts of his game faster than anyone expected. The supporting cast has elevated their games in ways that tie everything together. RJ Barrett rediscovered efficiency, rhythm, and physicality before his injury. His rim pressure injected a dimension the Raptors lacked. It's giving them a third weapon who forces defenses into impossible choices. The difference in their offense without him has already highlighted his importance. Emmanuel quickly has transitioned from an uneasy start to a steady, balanced, two-way presence. His decision-making and off-the-dribble shooting have become the glue for units that lack the star power of the starting lineup. And Jakob Poeltl, the backbone of the defense, continues to be the quiet anchor who protects the rim, orchestrates rotations, and turns would-be layups into fast break opportunities. The depth. once a weakness, now stands as one of the roster's most valuable strengths. Young contributors have settled into defined roles, giving Toronto a second unit that no longer collapses under pressure. For the first time in years, the Raptors are not relying on chaos to survive. They are relying on structure to win. And that structure extends to every corner of the court. The half-court offense that was once among the league's worst is now statistically elite. The defense that opened the season in disarray has transformed into a top-3 unit. The clutch performances areas where poise matters most have flipped entirely. Toronto is no longer scrambling. They are executing. They know where the ball is supposed to go. They know who is supposed to take key shots. They know how to close games without panic. This is the identity the Raptors have been searching for since the glory years. Not a team built on surprise or streaks, but a team built on accountability, consistency, and intentionality. A team that can walk into any arena and dictate the terms of engagement. Skeptics will point to the schedule. They will say the Raptors have not faced enough heavyweight opponents, that the tests still lie ahead, that the true proving ground awaits them in the winter months. And they are right. The league's elite will challenge everything Toronto has built. The brightest stars will force Ingram and Barnes to answer questions they haven't faced yet. The playoff teams will expose weaknesses that still hide beneath the surface. But what cannot be denied is that the Raptors look real in ways that cannot be faked. Balance is not luck. Top 5 numbers on both ends of the floor are not coincidence. A roster playing with synergy, belief, and identity is not a fluke. Something is happening in Toronto, and it is happening earlier than anyone expected. The Raptors may not be contenders yet, but they are building something authentic, something sustainable, something dangerous. Now, I want to hear from you. Are the Raptors truly emerging as one of the most complete teams in the league, or will the tougher part of the schedule reveal cracks beneath the surface? Do Ingram and Barnes have the potential